22 minutes before the top of the hour, President Trump planning to take legal action against the BBC this week after the British public broadcaster published a misleading edit of his January 6 remarks ahead of the Capitol riot.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Yeah, they left out that last line and all the others. The New York Times revealing the turmoil at the BBC, saying, quote, with board members and executives were deadlocked over how to respond, the news organization kept silent for 7 days, allowing controversy to snowball. Joining us now is Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett. And Greg, they went on to say there was one guy in particular, this guy Robbie Gibb, who pushed back on those people who said, let's just fight this. Let's fight back on this. He said, no, I disagree. We should make this a broad and sweeping apology. Your thoughts on the president's case, because he still wants to sue.
Well, the evidence, Brian, is overwhelming that the BBC misled viewers. They falsely portrayed Trump, as you showed it, inciting violence in a clear case of what I think is defamation. I mean, they deleted his caution to act peacefully, and then they spliced together the video to give the opposite impression, almost certainly defamatory. I mean, why else would the BBC apologize, retract, and remove the story? But the problem for them is it doesn't erase the damages that Trump sustained over 3 years. I mean, they ran this thing constantly over a long period of time, and they did the same thing 2 years earlier, same phony clip, causing harm to Trump's reputation, not just in Great Britain, but worldwide. Disparaging, dishonest propaganda, quite deliberate, shameful journalism, Brian.
Greg, the president's not backing off. Listen.
We'll sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion, probably sometime next week.
So you're ready to take?
Well, I think I have to do it. I mean, they've even admitted that they cheated.
So do you think he's going to get significant damages? Do you think that money is shoot for the sky and get what you get?
It's hard to put a value on it at this early juncture, but it's considerable. You know, 2 top executives resigned in disgrace when they removed the slander, and yet the BBC still claims it wasn't defamatory, which is absurd. They knew it was wrong. And, you know, equally ludicrous is their insistence that, oh, there's no institutional bias at the BBC. Really? Take a look at their own internal memo from their standards advisor exposing the newsroom for its pervasive liberal bias, corrupting the network's reporting. You know, I was in Europe recently. I tuned into the BBC. It was totally one-sided. The BBC needs a house cleaning desperately. And, you know, they need to empty the newsroom of all the faux journalists who peddle their agenda and refuse to be consistently fair or objective.
Greg, you're the lawyer. Well, by the way, on another topic, we should talk about how anti-Israel they are, how pro-Palestinian they are, and how they skewed the coverage of that war. But I have a sense that maybe President Trump's team is a little bit more curious over the last 4 years when he served the first time and now the 9 months here. How many positive stories have been about him? How many other stories wouldn't stand up to scrutiny by how they're reported? And you might say, well, who cares? It matters because the BBC is extremely well watched throughout Europe and throughout England. And you wonder why Trump has trouble with his profile internationally.
Well, the president this term has taken a very aggressive posture to go after journalists and news organizations for their rather conspicuous bias. It's not just the stories they choose to tell, but the way they tell them. Now, I don't know if he's going to file it here in the United States or Great Britain. Here in the U.S., it's harder for a plaintiff. You have to prove actual malice, that it was knowingly false or in reckless disregard of the proof. In Great Britain, just the opposite. The burden of proof shifts to the defendant to disprove the defamatory video. So my guess is he'll sue here in the U.S., but I think his damages are considerable. I
would just like to see that process of discovery and finding other stories that might, in fact, be biased to find out if we can build this even stronger case and maybe get that settlement. That library is going to pay for itself soon if he gets a settlement here. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.